Today we are going to learn about OCD, body dysmorphic disorder, hoarding disorder, skin excoriation disorder and trichotillomania, which are included in impulse control disorder in DSM-5. So obsessions are thoughts and compulsions are actions which what people do as a result of obsessions. So OCD is characterized by distressing, intrusive, obsessive thoughts and or repetitive compulsive physical or mental acts. Once believed to be rare, OCD was found to have a lifetime prevalence of 2.5% in epidemiological catchment area studies. So let's see, lifetime prevalence of OCD is around 2 to 3%. OCD is the fourth most common psychiatric disorder after phobias, substance use disorder and major depressive disorders. 2/3 of the patients have disease onset before 25 years and mean age of onset is 20 years, slightly earlier in males than females. More in patients who are single, unmarried. So what are the associated comorbidities? The most common associated comorbidity is MDD. 67% of the patients of OCD meet criteria for MDD in their lifetime. 25% of OCD patients have social phobias, whereas less than 1/4 have history of tics and only 5 to 7% have Tourette disorder. So DSM-5 released in 2013 includes new chapter for OCD and related disorder, which include OCD and related disorder includes body dysmorphic disorders, hoarding disorder, trichotillomania and skin excoriation disorders. Previously, OCD was grouped together with anxiety disorder, whereas DSM-5 has a new category of OCD and related disorders. Now, American Psychiatric Association defines OCD as presence of obsessions, compulsions, or both. Obsessions are defined by 1 and 2, meaning what are obsessions? So, recurrent, persistent thoughts, urges, or images. Those can be thoughts, urges, or images that are experienced at some time during the disturbance as intrusive, unwanted, and cause marked anxiety and distress. The person attempts to suppress and ignore such thoughts, impulses, or images, or to neutralize them with some other thought or action. This is about obsession. Let's see what is compulsion. It is repetitive behavior. Example, hand washing, ordering, checking, or mental acts like praying, counting, repeating words silently in mind in response to an obsession or according to rules that must be applied rigidly. That has to be done. This is a rule for behavior or mental act. That's compulsion. Behaviors or mental acts are aimed at preventing or reducing distress or preventing some dreaded event or situation. However, this behavior or mental acts either are not connected in a way that could realistically neutralize or prevent whatever they are meant to address, or they are clearly excessive. So DSM-5 has some criteria for OCD. So criteria A is presence of obsessions, compulsions, or both. As we just saw, what are obsessions? They are recurrent, persistent thought, urges, or images which are intrusive, unwanted, which creates marked anxiety, distress. Attempt to ignore or suppress or neutralize create a marked anxiety, or attempt to ignore or suppress is done by thoughts, urges, or images. What are compulsion? Imperative, they are behavior or mental act to reduce the anxiety, not collected in a realistic way. So these obsessions or compulsions are time consuming, take more than 1 hour per day, or cause clinically significant distress and impairment in social, occupational, or other important areas of functioning. OCD symptoms are not attributable to physiological effects of substance, that means drug of abuse or medication. And disturbance is not better explained by any other psychiatric disorder. So these are the criteria with specifiers. If with good insight or fair insight, that individual recognizes that OCD beliefs are definitely or probably not true, or that they may not be true. With poor insight, individual thinks that OCD beliefs are probably true. They are not ego dystonia. Okay, with absent insight, delusional belief, that individual is completely convinced that OCD beliefs are true. They are actually contaminated. They believe. Whereas in good insight, they think that the thoughts of contamination are distressing and they think that they are not their own and they are unwanted and intrusive. They have good insight. Whereas in poor insight, they say they are probably contaminated, hence they are having these thoughts. Tick related. So obsessive thoughts create anxiety, which leads to reduce the anxiety, which leads to compulsive behavior, and there is a temporary relief in obsessive thoughts and related anxiety. What are the common obsessions we see? Fear of being contaminated by germs or dirt or contaminated others, fear of causing harm, intrusive sexual, explicit or violent thoughts or images, excessive focus on religious or moral ideas, fear of losing or not having things that you might need, superstitious, excessive attention to some considered lucky or unlucky, order and symmetry, just right or wrong. Contamination is the most common obsession, 45%. Pathological doubt, as in checking, not done the action complete. That is pathological doubt, 42%. Somatic, 36%. And sexual is the least, 26%. Some common compulsions are double checking of things such as locks, appliances and switches. Repeatedly checking in on loved ones to make sure that they are safe. Spending a lot of time in cleaning, washing, counting, tapping, repeating certain words or doing other senseless things to reduce anxiety. Ordering or arranging things just to make it right, just so. It has to be like this. Checking is the most common compulsion, followed by washing, counting and symmetry is the list. So, most common category of OCD patient is washers, afraid of contamination. Then is checkers, repeatedly check things associated with harm or dangers. Doubters, everything is not perfect or done just right, something terrible will happen or will be right. Counters and arrangers, obsessed with order and symmetry. Hoarders, something bad will happen if they throw anything away. So let's see the explanation or theories of OCD. So biological, genetic, serotonergic, cognitive behavioral theory, psychodynamic, psychoanalytical. What is biological theory? Biological cause of OCD focus on a circuit in the brain which regulates primitive aspect of your behavior such as aggression, sexuality and bodily excretion. This circuit relays information from a part of your brain called the orbitofrontal cortex to another area called thalamus and include other regions such as caudate nucleus of the basal ganglia. When this circuit is activated, these impulses of aggression, sexuality and bodily excretions are brought to your attention and cause you to perform a particular behavior that appropriately addresses the impulse. For example, after using restroom, you may begin to wash your hands to remove any harmful germs you may have encountered. Once you have performed the appropriate behavior, in this case, washing your hands, the impulse from the brain circuit diminishes and you stop washing your hands and go about your day. So it controls the appropriate action of the impulse. Orbitofrontal to thalamus to caudate nucleus. It has been suggested that if you have OCD, your brain has difficulty turning off or ignoring impulses from this circuit. This in turn causes repetitive impulses, repetitive behaviors called compulsions, and uncontrolled thoughts called obsessions. For example, your brain may have trouble turning off thoughts of contamination after leaving the restroom, leading you to wash your hands again and again. In support of this theory, the obsessions and compulsions associated with OCD often have themes related to sexuality, aggression, and contamination. The very thoughts and impulses this circuit controls. In addition, neuroimaging studies in which scientists and doctors look at your brain have confirmed abnormal activity in this brain circuit. Scans of those OCD show abnormal activity in different parts of the circuit, including orbitofrontal cortex, cingulate cortex, and caudate nucleus of the basal ganglion, which are seen in this image. At the base of the frontal lobe, orbitofrontal cortex, anterior cingulate gyrus, thalamus, Genetic theory, genetic explanation for OCD. Genetic play a role in this disorder according to Belody et al. Study. Evidence from twin studies and family studies, they showed that close relatives are more likely to have disorder than the distant relatives. Another study says that the patients with OCD are more likely to have first degree relatives who suffer from anxiety disorders. Pauls et al. There is much higher percentage of OCD sufferer in relatives of patients with OCD than in control group without OCD. So there is a genetic explanation. Candidate genes are ones which through research have been implicated in development of OCD. A possible candidate gene is SERT gene, another one is COMT gene, which regulates the production of dopamine. It is recognized, however, that not everyone in a given family gets OCD. So there must be additional factors. The stress diathesis model suggests that people gain a vulnerability towards OCD through genes, but an environmental stressor is also required. This could be a stressful event, for example, bereavement. OCD is thought to be polygenic. This means that the development is not determined by a single gene, but a few, maybe as many as 230 genes. This means that there is a little predictive power from this explanation. 3 to 5-fold increased risk of OCD in relative of patient with OCD. There are genetic twin studies. An association between OCD and other disorders like tics, GAD, eating disorder, and Hammett disorders are also found. Serotonergic dysregulation is seen in OCD, as since many people with OCD respond to treatment with medication including SSRI, which boost serotonin neurochemical, it has been suggested that dysregulation of this brain circuit may be related to a problem with serotonin system. Cognitive behavior theory. Everyone experiences bizarre or unexpected thoughts throughout the day. According to the cognitive behavior theory of OCD, if you are vulnerable to OCD, you are unable to ignore these thoughts. In addition, you may feel that you should be able to control these thoughts and that these thoughts are dangerous. For example, you might believe that having these thoughts means you are going crazy, or that you might actually carry out the imagined or feared behavior, such as stabbing your partner. So, all thoughts. So how an obsession is born? Because these thoughts are labeled as dangerous, you remain vigilant and watchful of them. Just as you might constantly look out the window if you heard there was a burglar in the neighborhood. Constantly noticing these thoughts further reinforces the dangerousness of these thoughts. This sets up a vicious cycle where you become trapped monitoring these dangerous thoughts. Being trapped in this cycle can make it difficult, if not impossible, to focus on anything else besides these distressing thoughts. An obsession is born. So how compulsion starts? A compulsion such as hand washing may be a learned process. For example, in response to feeling contamination, you might wash your hands. This reduces your anxiety, which feels good, and in turn reinforces the hand washing behavior. Because of this reinforcement, every time you experience the obsession, you carry out the compulsion of washing hands to reduce your anxiety. So psychodynamic theories of OCD suggest that obsession and compulsions are sign of unconscious conflicts that you might be trying to suppress, resolve, or cope with. These conflicts arise when unconscious wish, usually related to a sexual or aggressive urge, is at odds with socially acceptable behavior. So it has been suggested that when these conflicts are extremely repulsive or distressing, you can only deal with them indirectly by transferring conflict to something more manageable, such as hand washing, checking, or ordering. Another explanations are doing, undoing, ambivalence, magical thinking. So differential diagnosis of OCD are Tourette's, Sydenham-Curia, tics and related disorders, MDD, temporal lobe epilepsy, and frontal lobe traumas. Now, how this OCD patient can present to non-psychiatric clinical specialties, as in to dermatologist, chapped hands, because of frequent washing of hands, the eczematoid appearance of the hands or skin. Family can present to the family practitioners because family member washing excessively may mention counting or checking compulsions to family practitioners. They can present to infectious or oncologist, infectious disease specialist. Insistent belief that person has acquired immune deficiency syndrome. They can also present to the plastic surgeon with the repeated consultation of abnormal features. And also to neurosurgeon with severe intractable OCD disorder for neurosurgical intervention. Let's see what is course and prognosis. More than half of the patients have sudden onset after a stressful event like pregnancy, sexual problem or death of a relative. Delay of 5 to 10 years before coming to psychiatric setup. 20 to 30% patients have significant improvement in symptoms, 40 to 50 moderate improvement, and remaining 20 to 40 have poor prognosis. What are the indicators for poor prognosis? Yielding to rather than resisting compulsion, childhood onset, bizarre compulsions, need for hospitalization, coexisting major depressive disorder or substance use, presence of personality disorder or delusional beliefs. The good prognostic factors are good social and occupational adjustment, presence of precipitating event, episodic in nature, good compliance on medication, and good insight. How to differentiate OCD from other disease? From psychosis, we can differentiate by unreasonable nature of symptom and association of other features in psychosis like hallucinations, delusion, disorganization. Differentiate OCD from depression from the course of illness. Episodic in depression, whereas may be continuous in OCD. Predominant sadness of mood in depression, whereas in OCD there is a mode of anxiety, distress secondary to obsessions. OCD due to another medical conditions like PANDAS, pediatric autoimmune neuropsychiatric disorder associated with streptococcus. Let's go on to see body dysmorphic disorders. Preoccupation with an imagined defect in appearance which is excessive and bothersome. More commonly found in college students, especially girls. Most common body part involved are hair, nose, skin and eyes. May be associated with delusion of reference, excessive mirror checking to check for the symmetry of the features, or avoidance of reflective surfaces, avoidance of social and occupational functions. Differentials are another psychiatric disorder like anorexia nervosa and gender identity disorder. Let's see what are hoarding disorders. Compulsive hoarding is associated with tendency to acquire and not discard things which have little or to no value, results in excessive clutter of living spaces. 2 to 5% is the prevalence, but may be as high as 14%. Comorbid OCD in 30%, whereas 20% meet criteria for ADHD. Cluster C-like personality like avoidant types have predominant this hoarding disorder. Also seen in patients with schizophrenia, dementia, GAD. Most commonly hoarded items are newspapers, mails, magazines, old clothes, bags, books. Fear of losing items, inability to organize things, and overemphasis on items. Symptoms are ego syntonic and poor insight into disorder. Treatment, poor response to SSRIs, and effective treatment CBT, including categorizing, exposure and habituation of discarding, cognitive reconstructing. What is trichotillomania? It is related to OCD and impulse control disorders. Associated with tension, urge prior to hair pulling, and instant gratification. Generally present to skin OPD for alopecia. More common in adolescent females. 35 to 40% of these patients may even ingest the pulled hair known as trichovezar. Two types of hair pulling behaviors are seen, that is focused pulling, intentional, and to curb unpleasant personal urges, or automatic pulling. Most often during secondary activities, not in conscious awareness but observed by others. No consensus about the treatment, but SSRIs and behavioral treatment like biofeedback, desensitization and habit reversal may be helpful. Skin excoriation syndrome or picking, skin picking. Compulsive and repetitive picking of skin, prevalence is 5%, whereas 12% in adolescent psychiatric population. It is associated with OCD, anxiety and body dysmorphic disorder, which is seen more in females. It is associated with tension or urge prior to picking and followed by relief after picking the skin. Most common sites are face and hands. SSRI and habit reversals are the treatment. Let's see what is course and prognosis for OCD. More than half have a sudden onset of symptoms, whereas 50 to 70% have it post-stressful event like pregnancy, sexual problems, or death of relative. Delay of 5 to 10 years before coming to psychiatric attention as patients keep their symptoms as secret. So 30% improve significantly, 40 to 50 next one-third improved moderately, whereas last 30 remain same or worsen. One-third have comorbidity of MDD. Let's see for the treatment. So we have short-term goals and long-term goals for OCD, to treat OCD. Short-term goals are to achieve clinical response and if possible remission of depression if comorbid, help deal with suicidal thoughts, behavior if any. To determine tolerability to medicines, identify and manage side effects. Long-term goals are achieve recovery and complete restoration of psychosocial functioning and enhance quality of life, and also to prevent relapse. Drug of choice are selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, SSRIs. Various SSRIs which are used in the management of OCD, which are recommended as monotherapy, are escitalopram, fluoxetine, fluoxamine, paroxetine, sertraline, citalopram, clomipramine, and venlafaxine, in the doses which are higher than usual requirement for the MDD. Other augmenting agents which are used in OCD are aripiprazole, risperidone, haloperidol, memantine, lamotrigine, ondansetron, granisetron. Based on the available evidences, aripiprazole and risperidone may be considered the first choice for pharmacological augmentation in a doses of 5 to 10 mg of aripiprazole or risperidone of low dose 1 to 3 mg. There are various psychotherapy for OCD like cognitive behavior therapy of exposure and response prevention, thought stopping, and stress management and relaxation training. Behavioral experiments like exposure and response preventions. ERP, that is exposure and response prevention, forms the core of CBT. Exposure to anxiety-provoking situation in a graded manner with negotiation and contracts at every step. Rationale of ERP with example explain the habituation and extinction principle with the aim of anxiety reduction as well as disconfirmation of the fears. Make a list of anxiety-provoking situations or triggers in a hierarchical manner using subjective units of distress on the scale of 0 to 10 of subjective rating. Expose the patient starting from lowest anxiety-provoking situation and gradually escalate the level. Each session lasts for 1 to 1.5 hours till the patient experiences reduction in distress and anxiety. Systematic desensitization. Another advances in the treatment of OCD are repetitive transcranial magnetic stimulation, where the magnetic field is applied to scalp with the scalp induces electric currents that depolarizes the underlying cortical neurons, influencing their functions. Possible hypothesis or explanation: directly altering the hyperfunctioning of prefrontal cortex with RTMS, which ameliorates the OCD symptom. Neurosurgery for chronic OCD patients in the form of anterior capsulotomy and anterior cingulotomy. So let's summarize about OCD and related disorder. First, in the management of OCD, establish the diagnosis of OCD, assess comorbid condition of depression and other anxiety disorders, also personality. Treat. It is important to treat comorbid conditions since untreated comorbidity may contribute to the poor outcome. Where feasible, employ instrument like Vibox to assess the symptom and their severity. Psychoeducate the patient and family about their symptoms and disorder OCD. SSRIs and CBT, that is cognitive behavior therapy, are the first line evidence-based treatment option for OCD. In the Indian context, SSRIs are often preferred as first line. All SSRIs are equally effective, but they differ in their side effect profile. Choice of SSRI for an individual patient is based on the factors of previous response, tolerability, acceptability, adverse effect, cost, and drug interactions. CBT alone may be recommended in mild to moderate ill patients if facilities for CBT exist. However, most severely ill patients benefit from combination of an SSRI and CBT. Partial responders and non-responders to only SSRI, addition of CBT may be recommended as first choice, and also other augmenting agents in low dose like risperidone or aripiprazole. Inpatient treatment is recommended for severely ill, treatment-resistant patients and for comorbid conditions such as severe depression. ECT has no proven role or value in the treatment of OCD. There is inconsistent evidence regarding the efficacy of RTMS, hence it is not recommended for routine use. Whereas deep stimulation and ablative surgeries may be considered in chronic, severely ill, treatment refractory OCD patients. Thank you.